In a landmark move, the Supreme Court has today said that Supreme Court hearings of all constitutional benches will be live streamed for the general public. This new initiative will start next week from the 27th of September. This was decided at a full court meeting led by Chief Justice of India, U.U. Lalit. Presiding judges were unanimous in their decision that live streaming of all constitutional cases must be done on a regular basis. This is a huge reform in a way that is coming from the Supreme Court of the country. What does it mean in a way for judicial scrutiny, transparency and independence? Joining me now are two of the country's fine judicial minds, joined by Justice Madan Lokur, former Supreme Court judge, and former Additional Solicitor General and Senior Advocate Indira Jaising. Appreciate both of you joining us. I want to come to first Indira Jaising because you were a driving force behind this. You've been fighting for this for years. Live stream important cases. Are you satisfied with what has happened? Why do you believe this is such a major reform and step forward?
Rajdeep, it's been done primarily in the interest of litigants. When I was ASG, I had cases from as far off as the Lakshadweep, and I was always wondering, how do these people come all the way to Delhi to even know what's happening to their cases? So let's be very clear. The first and the primary stakeholder are the litigating public of this country. Secondly, of course, every single person has a right to know. The Supreme Court held so in the judgment delivered in the Indira Jaising versus Supreme Secretary General, filed in 2017, delivered in 2018. I guess COVID intervened, and that's why the actual decision to live stream has been delayed. But I heard today that the official announcement is now out for the public. So yes, I believe it's a major step in the direction of accountability, transparency, not only for the judiciary, but may I say for the lawyers as well.
Justice Lokur, your first comments. Do you believe this live streaming of constitutional cases is an idea whose time has come? Will it significantly enhance the public's right to know?
Yes, I think it's a great idea, and as far as I'm concerned, it should have come much earlier. I mean, the time had come a little earlier, but I'm glad it has come now, and I'm sure it's going to be of great benefit to everybody, lawyers, litigants, just about everybody. I would like to say
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry.
Please go ahead.
I would like to say that, there are some high courts that have already started live streaming quite some time back, during COVID times. I remember the Gujarat High Court had started live streaming. Orissa High Court, I know, has started live streaming. And now they have started live streaming in the district courts. I think there are 30 or 34 district courts where live streaming is going on, right? And that was inaugurated by the Chief Justice of India, Justice Lalit. So really, it's a culmination of all this that the Supreme Court has also decided to live stream the hearing of cases.
There are those, though, Justice Lokur, who point out what they believe is the negative side of it, that much like a live telecast of Parliament, live streaming of important cases could lead to grandstanding by lawyers. Possibly judges will be more careful, because today someone could take a 30-second edited excerpt of something the judge has said. It will go on WhatsApp, go on social media, create a controversy. Are these legitimate fears that perhaps this will, in a way, dilute some of the sanctity associated with the court?
I don't think so. I mean, you can cook up all kinds of fears, right? But that doesn't mean that they exist. Okay, now, taking a small clip from somewhere and using it out of context, that can be done even if there's no live streaming. Okay, now you have reporters in the court, who send updates and so on. Anybody can do it, things can be morphed. So really, I'm not worried about this at all. And, let me say that in the high courts where live streaming has been going on, there has been no complaint about this, so why should there be a complaint about this in the Supreme Court?
Indira Jaising, do you have any such fears at all that this could be misused in a way to either put pressure on judges or to create controversies at times over any statement now passed by a lawyer or a judge in court?
Well, first let me answer the question you put to Justice Lokur. The Supreme Court has held in its judgment, the Supreme Court shall hold exclusive copyright over videos streamed online and archived with the registry, and reuse, capture or editing or redistribution of streaming derivative works of the broadcast or video footage in any form shall not be permitted except maybe on terms and conditions notified with the court, by the court without written permission from the court. Any such thing will be liable to contempt of court. And I believe that the press is a responsible institution and they will not do it knowing fully well that there are sanctions to this. So I am not...
No, private individual can put it on WhatsApp, ma'am. Indira Jaising, what stops a private individual from putting it up on WhatsApp, sending it to groups across the country and thereby in a way pushing, some would argue undermining the sanctity, as I said, of the court's proceedings?
Well, the concern that I have is the reverse, because as Justice Lokur pointed out, it's being done now. And one of the issues I mentioned in my letter asking for immediate live streaming was the existence of misinformation, which exists already. There is so much of fake news, there is so much of misinformation, that the only way to correct that is to have an official channel of the Supreme Court of India. So I think the Supreme Court has shoulders broad enough to tolerate some amount of misconduct on the part of people, and there are ways and means of dealing with it. The more critical issue is there are stakeholders which go with, look, Rajdeep, let's face it, CAA is under consideration, marital rape is under consideration, restitution of conjugal rights is under consideration, reservations for Dalits and Christians is under consideration. Tell me one citizen of the country who will remain unaffected by the outcome of these cases. And do they not have the right to know what is going on in the court? Can they not debate these issues in a rational manner? I believe they can. And this is the reason for this decision that was taken.
The word you use is rational. I hope the debate will stay rational. But Justice Lokur, what we are seeing though in the last couple of weeks, lots of changes coming in the listing system, ensuring that cases are now expeditiously dealt with by the Supreme Court. The backlog is slowly being reduced. It appears Justice Lalit, who has just 2 months as Chief Justice, is a man in a hurry. Is this a good sign? A sign that perhaps even the highest judiciary has realized the need for urgent reform?
Yes, I think it's a very good sign. And, I hope that the initiative that he has started, the momentum continues even after his retirement. There are thousands and thousands of cases pending in the Supreme Court. And, many of them are constitution bench cases which should have been heard many, many years ago. Right? So the time has come, for these cases to be heard. And, I'm very glad that Chief Justice Lalit has taken the initiative and he started hearing all these cases, listing all old cases, constitution bench cases, important cases, even otherwise. The momentum should continue. I hope it doesn't flag.
The momentum should continue. Indira Jaising, a final word. As someone who's been a crusader calling for these reforms in the judiciary, do you believe that this is going to be a false dawn, or do you actually see some hope, a ray of hope, that even the highest judiciary wants to change the way it's both perceived by the public as well as serious structural issues, including the large backlog in cases that Justice Lokur spoke of just now?
Yes, I think the judiciary is very aware of the fact that they need to restore the confidence of the ordinary person in this country, in the judiciary. We've had a bad run for some years. We all know that. But I think the Supreme Court's internal mechanisms have been activated. And what Justice Lalit has taught me is no one can ever say, I don't have enough time to do the other. Yes, 74 days, of which there are 50 working days, but something well begun, I'm sure will be continued by all the Chief Justices who come after him. Many constitutional courts of this world live stream their proceedings, so there is a wealth of knowledge internationally. Imagine,
Right.
Rajdeep, you can be sitting in any corner of the world and you will know what's going on in the Supreme Court of India.
I think that's wonderful in a way. I'm a great supporter of live streaming of judicial proceedings. The public's right to know above all else. Justice Lokur, Indira Jaising, I appreciate as always two fine minds joining me here on the news today. Thank you so much.